Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the shit show that is South African politics today. And this is the news that Ramaphosa praises the Constitutional Court whilst the country burns. So, Ramaphosa issues a speech celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Constitutional Court. Yep, 30 years anniversary of the Constitutional Court. And we still have BE. Well, anyway, let's just move swiftly on. Let's ignore that one for 1 second. Anyway, he called the Constitutional Court a pillar of democracy, praising its role in defending human rights, judicial independence, and the rule of law. He says, in a world where democracy is under threat, isn't it just brilliant that we have this Constitutional Court? But there's some problems here, Ramaphosa, and I really think we need to talk about them, bud. First is, how about ANC-sponsored state capture, which nearly destroyed the economy, which led to the 2021 riots that may have destroyed the country as a whole, sponsored by the ANC? What about the ANC's crime syndicates, such as the land or the construction mafia in KZN? What about the MPA's politicization? What about the fact that a former president was sent through to jail, which you let go of by magic, that there was just this pardon that happened? Who knew? Even Zondo says it's just all just bull rubbish. But apparently all these things that directly undermine democracy done by you, the ANC, they're nothing. Because don't worry, we've got the Constitutional Court. What about the second news article that the SANDF has spent millions on luxury travel? Millions on business class flights, luxury hotels, first world perks, to destinations such as France, USA, Asia, all the places where SANDF troops have to be stationed for peacekeeping, America, All this whilst military bases up and down the country have load shedding, no one gets paid, you can't deploy the SANDF even to peacekeeping missions like in the Democratic Republic of Congo, because they don't even have rifles and equipment to go there with. Yep, that stuff isn't a threat to democracy at all. Nope. Good thing we've got the Constitutional Court. Because it's shameless. Just absolutely shameless. What about the news that a soldier, one of our soldiers, is accused of killing 2 Hawks officers? Hawks officers that are supposed to investigate corruption of the state. Well, 2 of them were shot and killed by a lieutenant colonel. That individual also allegedly shot and killed a woman in East London during a robbery, also linked to gang crime, and the SANDF didn't suspend him. They only issued a statement of, we're watching you, we're watching. None of this is a threat to democracy at all. Guys got access to military-grade weapons. Good thing we've got that Constitutional Court. Now, I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. These are the clowns that literally govern us. Moving swiftly on, given the clown show that is constantly governing us, the GNU seems to be raising their voice louder and louder for an independent anti-corruption agency. Now, you may recall that we used to have one of those. They were called the Scorpions, and they were so effective and efficient that the ANC in 2009 disbanded them because they were just so effective that they were going after all the ANC people. They're like, can't have that. No, can't have that. Just now they'll put us in prison. And so, inevitably, the GNU is trying to push them to create a new, truly independent organization, like Scorpions 2.0, if you will, to tackle corruption. But I'm not sure the ANC want this, you see, because the ANC wants you to believe that they want to fight corruption. But they don't want to fight corruption. They want to own it. They want to own corruption so that they can benefit from it. So what's the chances that this new Scorpions 2.0 is actually going to get off the ground? Well, apparently, talk in the GNU is ramping up. I can't see the ANC approving this. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, talking of complete absolute bull rubbish, Julius and Malema went at the weekend to a funeral for those killed in the KZN bus crash. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about the KZN bus crash, these were individuals who died going to an EFF rally. I mean, what a way to go. What a useless way to go. EFF rally of all things. Anyway, he went there to go honor the individuals who died going to his bull rubbish rally. And he said, "We will not forget you. We will build homes for your dignity." So Julius has promised to build the families of the individuals who died homes. And all I'm going to say to that, ladies and gentlemen, is, hey, Julius, how's that school doing? Remember that school you were going to build in the rural community that you said if you never built it, no one should ever vote for you? But that's okay, because now nobody votes for you. Woo! Houses, schools, stadiums. Julius just thinks he builds castles out of thin air. He's a contractor of dreams, not of reality. Any case, what do you reckon the chances are that this is actually going to get built? Because my idea is nothing. It's just another empty promise from Airbag Juju. Bringing that on to a very final news article, and I've got to say, this is a news article that I didn't actually expect to see today. And this is the news that the leading economist, Davi Roots, now if you don't know who he is, he knows his stuff when it comes through to economics. He says that if you're thinking of leaving South Africa, specifically if you're a young person thinking of leaving South Africa, well, he says that doesn't actually make sense to leave. He says that you should probably consider staying. Now that in itself, I must say, actually came as a little bit of a shock. So why exactly does he say that you shouldn't leave? He says, yes, he can understand that some people say that due to the mismanagement of the economy, it would be better to leave. He says that many individuals are getting poorer, employment opportunities are declining, and taxes are at record high. So he understands why a record number of individuals are leaving the country for better opportunities, a safer place to stay, and greater stability. This comes on the back of the news that 108,000 individuals left South Africa between 2020 and 2024, averaging 27,000 individuals a year. However, Davi Roots said that South Africa does have an emerging modern economy. Now, I hear what you're going to say. You're going to go, oh, that's rubbish. We don't even have electricity. And that was my thoughts. But let's hear what Davi has to say. He says that the modern economy allows you to work remotely, which means that if you've got the necessary skills, a solid grasp of technology and a quality internet, you can basically work wherever you want. He says that economies are becoming more cloud-based, and this in turn means that politicians are losing more power over their people, because you can effectively work where you want, be employed where you want, and the bureaucrats can't really tell you otherwise. So he says, we have the opportunity in South Africa to be free of the heavy hand of bureaucrats and inept politicians because of the nature of the modern economy, this idea of the internet economy, if you will. Dawie says one of the big positives about South Africans as a whole is that we're very good at organizing ourselves and that we're very good at doing things for ourselves. And so what he says is you can actually see this the way that people create their own civil society action groups, their own local community organizations, even their own neighborhood watches, all of these to help clean up the areas where they live and make them slightly safer. So he says it actually makes sense that many South Africans would still live in the country but basically work abroad. He says, but if you did that, then you need to be able to protect your wealth and your investments by doing forms of proper diversification. So what this effectively means is that Dawie says it makes all the sense in the world to live in South Africa, use the whole modern economy theory, in other words, work abroad, but you must take your money abroad. He says you must move your money offshore. He says if you properly manage this risk, this exposure, that you move your currency abroad so that you're not impacted by weakening currencies, in other words, the rand, that this makes sense. Then why would you want to leave South Africa? He says this also guards against high inflation and interest rates in South Africa, which could limit your real-time returns. But he also offered a form of caution, saying you still need to be careful in terms of even investing abroad because of global stock markets. He also refers to the undervaluation of the rand and the overvaluation of things such as the US dollar. He suggested that one of the best ways to protect your currency was through Bitcoin, but did also likewise say that there were investable companies on the JSE, and there are other areas in South Africa where you would still need to be highly liquid in order to live. So, as he said, you don't stick all your money abroad, but it makes sense to invest some of your money abroad and keep some of your money in South Africa, but to have that foreign currency and the ability to earn through a foreign currency. He says if you fall into these categories of the modern economy and you're young, South Africa is the place to live. He does, however, say that if you are buying property in South Africa, you should never buy that property up front. You should buy that property on someone else's money, in other words, the banks. So what do you think of the idea that Davi Roots says that actually if you're young, that you should stay in South Africa, and that you should use the idea of the modern economy in order to live your best life here? Do let me know what you think in the comment section below. It's not often that we actually have someone of his caliber saying something positive, so do let me know in the comment section. Try to be a little bit positive for once, folks. We have so much other rubbish to deal with in this country. In any case, it's just my views. Let me know what you think in the comment section.